On our latest foray into the podcasting medium, we're talking what we liked and didn't like about the latest Infinity War trailer, a review of Tomb Raider, and how are gamers reacting to the Battle Royale genre invading their mobile phones. All this and more as we once again delve into the pop culture cosmos. And we're back for another edition of the Pop Culture Cosmos. My name is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We cannot thank you enough for stopping by and checking out our show, but it wouldn't be a Pop Culture Cosmos without my good friend. He is the head fire chief, putting out all those fires at Humanica Media. You got to check out all the great things going on with Humanica Media at humanicamedia.com, Humanica Media on YouTube, and Humanica Media on Facebook and Twitter. But I want to actually say also as well, a happy 1 year anniversary to his YouTube channel. It's Josh Peterson. Happy anniversary, my friend.
Thanks. I actually wasted all the fireworks before the show. Dropped the candle. My bad. So you guys missed that. I'm sorry.
But it's great to have you again, my friend, here on the Pop Culture Cosmos. As always, we're always talking the best and what's trending and what's new, what's latest, what's greatest in pop culture, what people are talking about out there. And it's going to be another great show indeed. We've got Rob McCallum standing by in the Cosmic Crossfire. He's going to be talking about the Star Wars: The Last Jedi Blu-ray release that's upcoming. He's got some things to say about what some of the features are within that Blu-ray coming out. Plus, also as well, we've got Tyler Baker from the Fantasy Football Pater podcast. He is stopping by later in the show as well to talk NFL free agency, all the moves, and which ones he likes and which ones he didn't like so much, and which teams have really made out so far this offseason, and which ones have kind of not exactly, stood up to the test when it comes to how they're progressing this offseason. He's going to be by later in the episode to talk about that. But first, we got a lot to talk about when it comes to the movies. But I want to ask you first, Josh. We didn't get a chance to touch on this in our last episode, the PCC Multiverse, but wanted to make sure that we at the Pop Culture Cosmos pay our respects to probably one of the greatest minds ever in humanity, Stephen Hawking, who passed away this past week. What are your thoughts on Stephen Hawking and all of his great ideas and all the great things he did for us as as a race, as a species, as basically as a culture as well?
Yeah, no, it's a bummer that he's gone. It's weird that everybody all of a sudden I wonder how many times he got Googled on the day that he died so that people could figure out what exactly he did. Because I go across some of my news feeds and I see people who they're not the sharpest tools in the shed. So Stephen Hawking is like the last person on earth I'd know them or I'd expect them to know about. But yeah, man, no, it's sad. It's a shame that he became, I don't know, almost a part of like meme culture, and like it's just bad taste, a lot of that stuff. But he's a smart dude, and it's a shame that he spent his life I always wonder what he could have done had he not been confined to his wheelchair.
And stricken with with ALS, as far as that's concerned. In fact, he is believed to be the person that has survived the longest, I think by far, with this dreaded disease ALS, commonly known as the Lou Gehrig's disease.
Yeah, yeah, and no, man, it's just it's sad. I'm not up on my Stephen Hawking's research or anything, but I respect what he did, and I know he's very very smart guy. We don't really have a lot of minds like that around anymore, so he'll definitely be missed.
He definitely will be, and his theories are going to be standard reading for anybody who wants to deal with anything as far as from outer space. Obviously his theories on black holes are standard reading as well, and just basically all the ideas that he proposed and that he wanted for mankind as far as how we should go about our way of life. Uh, those ideas hopefully will stay with us for ever and ever. And basically, like you said, what could his life have become had he been given even more access to be able to do what he needed to do? But hey, he was able to communicate for so many years, and like I said before, even though he did have his affliction that unfortunately ultimately claimed his life, he was able to live a lot longer than what many had expected, and definitely was able in that time be able to still communicate some fascinating and ideas that help mankind forward, not only now but in the future as well. So definitely he will be missed, and our thoughts and our our, our love send out to his family as far as it's concerned. And definitely Godspeed to you, and may space travel to you, and may you reach the cosmos that you wish to go to, Stephen Hawking. So rest in peace. But on that note, in fact, maybe a moment of silence might be also as well for Stephen Hawking. And on that note, we just want to say thank you again for stopping by the Pop Culture Cosmos. The Marvel's Avengers Infinity War trailer, the second one, the one that's designed to say, hey, tickets are available right now for pre-order for the upcoming April 27th debut of Infinity War. And the trailer came out, and I'll tell you what, Josh, this is how you sell a trailer, my friend. People at the Fantastic Beasts and Warner Brothers need to take note. This is how you sell a trailer. I mean, Rob and I previously, and I know you differ a little bit on that. Rob and I talked about how the Fantastic Beasts trailer for the upcoming Fantastic Beasts movie kind of missed in our estimation. But I don't think there's anybody out there that wasn't excited even more so for Infinity War after seeing this latest trailer.
I'm sorry, what trailer?
There was this little one. It's in this indie film. It's called Iron Man's Last Stand, and Where's Hawkeye, I think, was the double feature.
Yeah, it's that low budget double feature that yeah. Anyways, yeah, no, man. I am stoked. I am definitely interested. I watched the trailer probably about 3 times that day it came out.
Well, then you're 3 times behind me because I've watched it at least 7 or 8 times already myself.
Whoa. What is this bragging rights here? No, I'm excited, man. I haven't like this is a big film, and my only concern is that like there's gonna be so much in it that they're not gonna get the chance to properly uh give everybody their due course on screen. Because from what I understand, according to the Russos, Thor is the character to be watching in Infinity War, because Thor and the Hulk have a pretty big story arc, which I hope is true, because it seems like, as much as I liked Ragnarok, like they kind of made a joke out of Thor in that movie. So I hope to get him back into his more serious persona in this one.
But I don't want him spouting off Shakespeare again. I don't want him going back to that. I kind of
No,
liked him as Ragnarok Thor.
yeah, no, I get that, but like again, like his comic books, they're dark. Like he was always, I mean, he doesn't spout Shakespeare in the comic books. I don't know why they did that in the movies, but his comic books are dark and they're serious, and like he's the one of the Avengers that, I mean, in Ultimate Comics they kind of made him into like the buddy Thor, but like in the normal Thor comics, he's not the Lethal Weapon Mel Gibson Danny Glover persona that they gave him in Thor Ragnarok. But I digress. Yeah, no. So my concern is that I trust Kevin Feige. I trust he knows what he's doing, because he hasn't let us down yet. But there's so much going on. I'm curious like how they're going to, because it looks like there's different things taking place all over the universe in this at the same time. So I hope that doesn't get so busy that it becomes hard to follow.
Well, that's the advantage of already knowing as an audience that there is going to be a second part to this next year, that they don't have to complete everything with this first film. And that's what I like already, is the fact that, okay, it's not going to leave us hanging in suspense. Well, okay, actually, it probably will leave us hanging in suspense, wanting us to get a hold of the next movie next year. But what I'm saying is that we don't go in knowing that there's not going to be a completion or a second part to this part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, no, we'll get that. The trick here is going to be knowing where it's going to split. So obviously, Ant-Man and Wasp are next. So where is this going to take place? Is it going to take place in the aftermath of some kind of tragedy that we're bound to witness at the end of Infinity War? We do know that Captain Marvel goes back to the 90s, so we know where that stands in the timeline. And did you see the pictures of Nick Fury getting his scroll on?
Yeah, I did, unfortunately, and I'm hoping that they will not go ahead with that. I'm hoping that he will not be a scroll. I'm hoping that he will not have that added to his character, because it just really just because Nick Fury is one of my favorite characters, and I really don't want him to be a scroll, even though the writing appears to be on the wall. But let's go back to what we're seeing in Infinity War. I do know that the Russo brothers did say that Ant-Man and the Wasp will tie in somehow to the Infinity War in some form or fashion. Obviously, it needs it, in my opinion, as far as a tie-in is concerned, because I believe there is no other Marvel film between Ant-Man and the Wasp and the second part of Infinity War. Is that correct?
Right, because the second part of Infinity War is May 2019, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and Captain Marvel's coming out after that, if I'm not mistaken. So, that being the case, obviously Ant-Man and the Wasp has to tie in somehow to both those films. So, definitely interested to see that part of it. But getting back to the trailer, I think you hit it right in the head when you're saying, along with the Russos, that Hulk is a main character, because if you see from the trailers, Bruce Banner not only appears at the resonance and domain of Doctor Strange, he also appears in the trailer in Wakanda, and also heading over there within one of the ships, I guess, that's going over there from the Avengers place of domain to the actual Avengers headquarters to the area of Wakanda. So I think that he is going to be definitely a key character, Bruce Banner slash Hulk, as far as why he how he's involved, how he gets from the ship that was Asgard for all intents and purposes, and how he gets to actually he gets to Doctor Strange's first, and somehow he gets transported over to Wakanda, I think obviously by airship there. But you see what I'm saying? He is going to play such an integral role, and I definitely agree with you on that assessment.
Yeah, he's in a lot of scenes. I hope that if they're going to be closing his story arc, I hope that they give us some kind of closure with him and Black Widow, because that's just been going on forever. My theory here is that, okay, so we've been reading all these conspiracy things about Hawkeye, what he's doing. The Russos say he's off having his own adventure during this film, so he's going to be in it, but there's something secret that they're keeping from us. So the theories are that like he's searching for the Soul Stone, or he's doing some kind of secret mission for Captain America or something. But my I'm under the impression, I think personally, that the little flowers that give Black Panther his abilities, I think that whatever creates those, I think it's the Soul Stone, because that's what I'm assuming is what gives him the ability to get to the ancestral plane, to see the souls of his lost ancestors. So
So you think they're not only fighting for Vision, who it appears survives whatever entity from the Black Order tries to go ahead and steal the stone initially in one of those the shots in the first trailer, and that he survives somehow that attack and gets transported along with several of the other Avengers to Wakanda, along with Bruce Banner, Black Widow, Captain America, who's Nomad or whatever he's called now, to Wakanda to fight that battle, because you see a big climactic battle between the forces of Thanos and also the Wakandan warriors, Black Panther, Dora Milaje, the whole nine yards there, along with a lot of the Avengers. You see that climactic battle. So you think it's not just to protect Vision, but you also think it's to protect the Soul Stone as well, correct?
Yeah, I think the Soul Stone is in Wakanda. Otherwise, there wouldn't be such a huge need to get to Wakanda or to have such an epic showdown in Wakanda. So I'm and if you I saw like some little concept pictures of Black Panther's sister holding something that looks like a flower, but it's not quite the flower. So I'm I'm standing by that. You can mark that down if you want to, and we'll we'll talk about it afterwards. What I do want to talk about is Spider-Man. So we saw him in the trailer, and somehow he manages to get up to that big circle thing in the sky. What role does he play? Because we don't see him beyond that. So is he in space or on another planet with Iron Man and Chris Pratt, or what is he doing during this movie? Because all we get to see of him are the scenes in the bus.
Because it shows him conversating with Chris Pratt, and also as well Doctor Strange, and also as well Drax, and also as well Iron Man, in what many believe is Titan, the planet Titan, where Thanos is from, because he's the Mad Titan, of course. So somehow they get transported on that ship to Titan. It looks like, we're not sure. Obviously, because from all appearances, whatever they do, they end up having a battle with him, because or some type of battle on another planet. So and somehow he also gets that iron what's it, that iron web armor, the one he turned down in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah,
He
it's
turns
the
he
Iron
goes
Spider.
Yeah, the Iron Spider outfit. He gets that outfit somehow after what we see him going towards it. When he first initially gets the Spidey sense tingling, he doesn't have that type of suit on. So somehow Tony Stark either has it for him, gets it for him, somehow he obtains it before they head off into that other planet, which again is speculated at being Titan. But I also want to talk about as well, there looks to be a flashback scene in the context of that trailer, which could be very much, we think from what we see, it could be a young Gamora in the moment when she is taken, as far as adopted, aka kidnapped by Thanos himself, before he goes ahead and slaughters the whole planet that she is from.
Okay, so have you read any of the Infinity Gauntlet comics at all?
No, I'm actually, I've been eyeing them, but I'm actually kind of trying to stay away from them, because I'm seeing what I'm seeing on those reviews, as far as they're trying to break downs and whatnot. They're referencing some of it, but they're not referencing as much of it as what's going on. It looks like a lot of it is being left up to the interpretation of the Russos as well.
Yeah, so it's in the Infinity Gauntlet comics. Thanos is kind of like I guess Steppenwolf, how they portrayed him in the Justice League movie. He's trying to win the love of a dark mistress. And in the so thus the need to conquer the galaxy and do all that stuff. But in the Infinity War, he's doing it because um he's doing it out of tragedy, and he's trying to bring order because something happened to his planet, and he's doing it because he thinks that he's saving the universe. So this is like we were saying Black Panther was the first time we got kind of a tragic villain. I think that they kind of made Thanos into a tragic villain. I want to see more, so I won't be able to really speculate till I see the movie. But from what I understand, he thinks that it's what he's doing is for the greater good of the galaxy. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays into this interpretation of him.
Because as it was said that he wants to get rid of half the galaxy in order to save the other half, I think is what the philosophy behind that is. So
Yeah.
that's a very, very great analogy indeed, as far as what you're able to pick up on and what everybody out there else is picking up on when they watch the latest Marvel's Avengers Infinity War trailer, which is out now. Obviously, trying to get you to buy your tickets, pre-order your tickets early. I'm telling you, like I did, I got my tickets already. We're all set to go because it already broke the pre-sale record for superhero movies within the first 6 hours of being announced. That's just such a great number indeed as far as pre-order advance sales for a superhero movie. And so you got to get your tickets right away. It is It is Marvel's Avengers Infinity War. It's coming out April the 27th, unless you see the 31-hour Marvel movie marathon before that. You get a little sneak peek on Thursday, but Josh and I already discussed what we would do on that on the last episode, and I'll leave that up to you if you want to do that. But it is coming out for everybody else on April the 27th. Cannot wait. Looking forward to it. Get your tickets right away, and definitely we'll be talking a lot more about that in upcoming episodes indeed. Before we head on over to talk to before we head on over to talk to Rob McCallum in the Cosmic Crossfire, Josh, I know you checked out Tomb Raider over the weekend. It placed number 2, like what we were saying, about $24-25 million this past weekend domestically. It's actually doing extremely well in China, where it trounced Marvel's Black Panther, which was going on its second week, and unfortunately lost almost 90% of its first week income on there. And that's a shame to see that such a great movie is not playing well in China. But Tomb Raider debuted to over $40 million there. It might actually look like it might break around 200 to 250 when it's all said and done as far as $1 million. So it might actually kind of even come close to breaking even. So I ask you, Josh, you got a chance to check out the movie itself. What were your thoughts on Tomb Raiders this year? Well, actually, this 2018 iteration of the Tomb Raider film.
I liked it and I didn't like it. I liked the fact that they were true to the character's origins, and I mean more truer to the video game than ever before. Um, what I was disappointed by was that they took the plot and they dumbed it down so much for the audiences. And I totally get why they did that, but there was so much mythology there in the first game that they could have run with. They took the character and I don't want to spoil anything. They just kind of like they simplified it. They changed the character to make it, or they changed the Himiko, the queen of on the island. They took her character and they kind of dumbed her story down to make it more not interesting, but more comprehensible to audiences. And like I said, I get why they did it, but I just wish that they would have explored that a little differently, because at the end of the day, I don't know who they're making a Tomb Raider for. Are they making it for a broad audience, or are they making it for fans of the game? It's the same thing could be said about comic book movies. But uh, there was so much there in the first game, like Vogel's descent into madness and the undead warriors of that were there protecting the queen that could have been explored, and they didn't really give you any of that in this movie. They kept it a little more grounded, which again, I see why they did it, but I've just, that was one of the things that was really cool to me about Tomb Raiders, that they always had that supernatural aspect, and this one was less supernatural, more down to earth, more explainable.
Well, that sounds like pretty much par for the course as far as the reviews are pretty much across the board. They're kind of mixed, so definitely that seems to fall right in. Like I said, if at best it looks like it's going to do between 200 and 250 million dollars worldwide, maybe even a little better, but with the high cost of about close to $100 million as far as production costs concerned, got to look be maybe at best breaking even, which is still, in my opinion, not going to break that video game movie curse quite just yet. But maybe next time go around with another great video game idea. Maybe we can go ahead with that and hope that that will finally break the video game movie curse.
I feel like it's a step in the right direction, though. It's not getting like universally bashed like most of the other ones do.
This is true. This is true. So it can only go up from here. What are your thoughts on Tomb Raider and the Marvel Avengers Infinity War trailer that was just released this past Friday? Share us your thoughts, popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Also as well, Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanica Media, and Game Source on Facebook and Twitter as well. Well, like I said, we've got Rob McCallum standing by in the Cosmic Crossfire. He's going to be talking about The Last Jedi Blu-ray release and about some of the details behind it and what he's interested in. But first, before we head to break, want to give a big shout out to our good friends, Mike Crockett and the Kingpin, Brian Malonis. Want to congratulate them on 100 episodes of the Wrestling Podcast About Nothing. If you want to know more about the pro wrestling world, you just check out their show each and every week. It's an awesome listen, and my congratulations to you both, guys. Just appreciate the time that you've taken on this show to talk with us, and appreciate the fact that you guys have been around for 100 great episodes, and I hope you guys stick around for a whole heck of a lot more. Once again, got Rob McCallum standing by, and later on, Tyler Baker coming up later in the broadcast as well. This is the Pop Culture Cosmos. And we're back with the Pop Culture Cosmos. This is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. Thank you so much for sticking around and enjoying the show. If for any reason you have a hard time figuring out where exactly our show plays, we're on online radio 7 days a week. We're on a ton of online radio stations. You can check us out on stations like Airwave Radio in the UK, Good Talk Radio out of Arizona, also as well the Podcast Radio Network, our original home, Gray Cloud Radio, Western Reserve Digital Broadcasting, IPMNation.com. Check out my site. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Yep. And you got to check out all those great stations. We've actually got a listing on each and every day. They are available for our Monday show, the Pop Culture Cosmos, and our Friday show, the PCC Multiverse. Those get replayed throughout the week on those great stations, and we've got a schedule listing at our Pop Culture Cosmos Facebook site, which you can check real easily. It's pinned right there for you. But you can also subscribe to any one of these great channels and download our shows at any time on Apple Podcasts, Weeby Geek, the WeebyGeekPC.com network. We're just so happy to be part of that great network. Also as well, Podbean, Podchaser, Podcast.com, the Tangibound Network, Gonna Geek Network, ESO Network, Stitcher, Google Play, Mixcloud, and a absolute ton more download networks that allow you to download our shows at any point in time. And if you do subscribe and download to our shows, we throw in a little bit of something each and every episode. This week we've got the Cubby Hole from our good friend from Voice from the Underground, Jason Mummert. Jason Mummert, he and I talk about fantasy baseball, and I'm going to throw a little bit of 15 minutes on there for you as a kind of a teaser, so you check out his show, Cubby Hole, if you're really into fantasy baseball. But Josh right here has a great thing going on with Humanica Media. So Josh, please tell everyone out there what's upcoming with your great network known as Humanica Media.
All right. Well, tonight you can catch a brand new Topicocalypse going up here shortly. And then Monday night, you can catch a brand new episode of What About This, followed by a brand new episode of the Super BS Games Cast on Thursday. And as always, you can catch our show on the Podcast Radio Network every Tuesday nights.
That's indeed correct. It is 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on the Podcast Radio Network, where you can also catch our shows, the Podcast Radio Network, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Monday nights, and also as well on Friday nights, the PCC Multiverse at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. The number 1 and 2 shows on the Podcast Radio Network, and we're grateful to each and every network we are on, and hopefully we'll be adding some more in the near future just to make sure you have plenty of options out there. So Josh, I know. So Josh, I'll tell you what. There's a lot of games that are coming out this week. We got a lot of really pretty promising games that are coming out, including, well, for instance, if you got a 3DS, you want to go with Detective Pikachu. Then you've got the great kind of indie game from the makers of a Tale of Brothers, A Tale of Two Brothers. What is it called?
That's the one where they're escaping, right?
Well, yeah, it's A Way Out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's the great new kind of indie game, and that it's an indie company that's going to be getting help publishing it from EA, who I guess is not really trying to take anything from it. It's all going to go to the developer, and that's a great thing. It's called A Way Out, a great co-op game that looks to be very promising indeed. There's also Attack on Titan 2. Looking forward to that one. That's coming available this week. But the big game I think that's got the most hype out of all the games coming out this week, and like I said, there are a few, but the game that even Ni no Kuni 2, that sequel is coming out finally after delays with that game. That game is coming out also this week, so take a look for that one. In fact, because that's a sequel to a very, very good game. But Sea of Thieves is coming out, which is to me a return to Rare, the company that has been making video games that was such a dominant force in the business for so long, that kind of got away from that for different reasons. They kind of got into doing some other stuff as far as the video game industry is concerned, that maybe didn't showcase their best skills, but they are coming out with Sea of Thieves, finally coming out of beta and all that. So Josh, it is coming out for PC and Xbox One. This is supposed to be one of the marquee games of the year for Xbox One, and a reason why people should go out and buy an Xbox One. Will it be that marquee title that I, and everybody else is hoping for, that can really boost the Xbox One sales?
I hope so. Because I did Xbox Games Pass, so that I'm supposed to be able to have access to that on day one. But I got some buddies who want to play it, and they're just about as excited about it as I am. The fact that you can basically team up with your friends and crew a pirate ship and go around and run into other people who are playing pirates, and there's missions to do, and you can attack enemy boats. But I think the one thing that it has working against it is the fact that there is no single player on here. You can't you can play it by yourself, but you have to always be with people. Like there's no story to go through. Like with Elder Scrolls Online, you can, there's always people on the map, but there's a point to the game. Like there's a beginning and there's an end, and there's all the extra side quests. So if Sea of Thieves can do that correctly and keep like the single player enthralled in it without having to spend hours trying to find a crew and trying to get out there and do quests, or the quest level base, we don't know yet. If they can find a way to make it playable to the average lonely Joe, that I think that it could be the flagship game that Microsoft needs, especially since they don't have a lot of exclusives, especially recently. That's been something of a driving force for the Xbox. PlayStation has done okay with that, despite not giving dates on anything. But Xbox really doesn't have anything. Now I know people are excited about these announcements for Fable, but between now and the holidays, because we don't know what's being announced at E3, so between now and the holidays, Sea of Thieves is kind of something. It has to do well if they want to keep people interested in the Xbox between now and E3, Christmas, whatever. It's Sea of Thieves has got to pull through, and I think that it will, because when we're at E3, people seemed excited about it. So, I'm hoping it's good, man. Do you have any intention on playing it?
I actually do. I actually am thinking about getting the Xbox Game Pass just for it, so we'll have to wait and see. I may be interested in going ahead and going out on a cruise with you on that, as far as seeing if we can go ahead and sink some other ships and getting some treasure and all that stuff. So that sounds like a good plan indeed. But yes, I agree with you. This has to be a home run for them. They are losing ground quickly to the Nintendo Switch, and they've always or they've already lost a substantial amount of ground to the PlayStation 4, which is coming out with the next God of War very soon. And also, it really at this point in time is a make or break year for the Xbox One if they want to go ahead and still continue with the Xbox One format, or if they have to ditch it and go in another direction. Because I tell you what, you're right. It's all about exclusives. Xbox One really hasn't had that many exclusives to get all riled up for. So it's at this point that they need to go ahead and start taking whatever exclusives that they have and trying to see if they can push them forward and really make them something special. And hopefully they can get the kind of interest that a lot of these other games that have taken note recently, like Fortnite, PubG, and what have you, that really have been getting the press lately, and hopefully they can grab some of that when it releases this week and going forward. So we'll have to wait and see. I still have my high hopes for it. We'll definitely give it a shot and see if we can go ahead and maybe even stream some action at some point down the road as well. So, um,
Right.
any last thoughts on it?
Yeah. So, what I noticed with Fortnite and PUBG is that players love customization. And so if Sea of Thieves can deliver some sort of customization as far as your character build, your clothes, your ship, what you do, as a crew, your what kind of flag you're flying, I think that it does have the ability to possibly compete with some of these games. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm sure people will get burnt out on PUBG and Fortnite here soon, but I mean not very soon, but eventually they will get burnt out on it. But Sea of
Well, I don't
Thieves,
know. We'll talk a little bit more about that later in the show.
but Sea of Thieves, man, like I hope it competes, because it does look fun.
It does look fun and it does look like a good time. So let's hope the reviews come out that are strong, and let's hope the word of mouth that comes along with it will be just as strong too. What are your thoughts on Sea of Thieves as it hits the Xbox One this week, or any of the other games that are being released, including Nino Kuni 2, Attack on Titan 2, Detective Pikachu, or also as well A Way Out? Any of these games, please, if you want to talk about them at all, have you played them, you enjoy them, you don't enjoy them, share us your thoughts on any one of these games or Sea of Thieves, which is coming out. Share us your thoughts, popculturecosmos at yahoo.com, also as well, Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanity Media, and Game Source on Facebook and Twitter as well. So when we come back, we've got Tyler Baker standing by from the Fantasy Football Pater podcast. He's going to be talking and breaking down the winners and losers so far in NFL free agency. And after that, speaking of PUBG and Fortnite, we're going to be talking about how they will be hitting, how they've hit the mobile, how they hit the mobile phone industry hard. And I'm talking about really, really big time, and how and if this is something that really will set the tone for the future for games like this. This is the Pop Culture Cosmos. And we're back to close out the show. This is the Pop Culture Cosmos. We want to thank you so much for just enjoying the show, and we truly appreciate you listening to us. Want to thank so much Tyler Baker from the Fantasy Football Pater podcast for joining us. Also, as well as always, Rob McCallum from robmccallumfilms.com for joining us in the Cosmic Crossfire as well. You got to check out his robmccallumfilms.com because I know there's a lot of great things coming, including the Kitty documentary, which is going to drop on the 30th. So pre-order it now while you still can, and get ready to check out all that great material indeed. Josh, before we head on out, we talked about it a little bit. Two of the biggest games going right now, Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, better known as PubG, and also as well Fortnite, have hit mobile phones, with PubG going beta on on Google Play for Android phones and Android devices, and also as well you've got Fortnite that hit the iOS store, and I'll tell you, it's doing so well. It's already the number one app right now, the number one game and the number one app right now in the Apple Play Store, in the Apple Store. So I ask you, my friend, is this going to be a sign of things to come when you've got the hottest video games that you can take from the PC and consoles, what have you, and are able to go ahead and effectively, because by all appearances, and from what a lot of the reaction is, that they've done a great job of being able to transfer that experience to the mobile phones and mobile devices? Is this going to be something that other publishers are going to do as a regular thing going forward?
I hate to say this because I hate mobile games, but I hope so, man, because there's so many mobile games out there that are just garbage. And you know, developers who these big developers are, they're, though it's in small increments, they're losing money to some of these people because they don't they don't put these games on a platform that reaches more people. Like, you have a lot of kids who play on their parents' iPhones or their iPad or something, and they're the kids that don't have consoles, and so they're kind of missing a market there by not doing that. So you notice that Square does that. They put out their Final Fantasy things, but they specifically ported Final Fantasy 15 to mobile phones, and they had to dumb the graphics down a lot, and they took a lot out of the game, but they made the effort, and from what I understand, it's selling pretty well. So, yeah, I hope it's a trend that continues into the future. And I know Fortnite and PUBG, are they both on mobile? Is this?
That's correct. Actually, right now, again, as I said before, uh, PUBG Player Unknown Battlegrounds is actually in a beta format for Android devices, and right now, Fortnite Battle Royale is the number one app for iOS devices right now. So they're on either or at this time, which is not surprising at all, considering the fact that they are the two most rivals right now, the Pepsi and Coke right now going on in the battle royale genre. But what surprises me the most is the fact that these aren't games that are being transferred from a big format to a small format and being totally wrecked or trashed, or being or games coming out with bad word of mouth. From what I'm understanding and what I'm seeing, and what I'm actually seeing it translate, yeah, there's a little bit of graphics difference, of course, but these are experiences that people are able to translate pretty good on a mobile device.
Yeah, and that's always the trick, isn't it? Knowing how, because there's a lot going on in these games, so it's knowing how to make the controls accessible without having to open up a bunch of different menus, and then have to worry about getting shot while you're playing these games. So, um, the my experience with mobile gaming is that, like, it also depends on like how long you've been playing. Is your screen dirty or is it cracked or whatever? Because the button sensors get kind of weird around that territory. But yeah, it sounds like they're doing a good job of making all the controls accessible. So I'd be curious to see like a side by side of someone playing on mobile versus someone playing on a console, just to see what the difference is. But from what I understand, like they've done a pretty good job of it, and people are just stoked to be able to play this game on their phones against people on console computer. And I think that's the important thing. So I think, time will tell whether, if they did a good job, if people like it. I'm probably not going to play it, but I'm interested in following the trend here.
definitely something to think about. Indeed, if you're searching for a great mobile game, you now have got two of the hottest games on the market, PUBG and Fortnite Battle Royale, now actually involved with mobile gaming, which is a great sign for gamers and a bad sign for mobile gaming industries that really had thought they had an exclusive to all their own, because I think this is going to definitely set a larger precedent. Like you said, Square Enix has already dabbled with this with the Final Fantasy series, but this is actually taking it up a notch to take two currently hot, and I mean super hot games that are actually really scoring well with audiences on PC and consoles, to actually be able to be able to transfer that experience to mobile devices, and not in the latter stages of popularity or anything of that nature. Do it while it's really hot, and to focus that and to do it actually well is something special. And I think everybody should at least give that a try. Fortnite for iOS devices, and also PUBG for Android devices while you get a chance, because it's definitely something special. And I actually can see a lot more companies doing this down the road to reach what many thought was an untapped market.
Yeah, no, I hope to see more. They were it's this is the good perfect time to do it. It makes me wonder if they've been planning on doing it for a while, but yeah, it's a perfect time to do it because the games definitely have a lot of momentum. And you know, that I'm always wonder if like PUBG is watching Fortnite just to see what they're doing, so they know that they have to like constantly be keeping up with this game. That seems to be because Fortnite wasn't doing so well at first, but then it caught up, and it's selling.
Well, the game in its own original state, the Fortnite in its original state as the building platform with you and a friend, you or by yourself or you and a friend, that scenario, that's what came out that didn't do right off the bat. It wasn't until they added that battle royale mode, seeing the early success of PUBG, it wasn't until they added that battle royale mode that it really took off from there. In fact, as we reported on it last week that it is now the most popular game by far on Twitch. In fact, records for the leading streamer Ninja, when he sat in with the music superstar Drake, went through the roof as far as viewership ratings are concerned for Twitch, and that broke all records. So it's definitely seeing right now that Fortnite Battle Royale is the hottest thing on the market, and PUBG maybe now number two, but a very close number two indeed. And it's great to see them trying to battle now in a different market space, and that's the mobile space indeed. So give them a try, whether you have an iOS or an Android device, and hey, let us know what your thoughts are on these games being on a mobile platform. Let us know. PopCultureCosmos at yahoo.com, Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanica Media, and Game Source on Facebook and Twitter as well. So, Josh, any last thoughts before we head on out?
Oh yeah, if you're in the market for some games, there's a lot of good deals going on at a lot of different stores this week. So, off the top of my head, I know Target is doing a buy one get one half off on any game in the store, but just remember that the one at the lower price is what you're going to get for the half off sticker. Walmart has a lot of $60 games being sold for 50% off, and GameStop is doing a similar sale. So if you're in the market for some games and you need something to hold you over till those sweet announcements come out at E3, definitely be checking them out, man.
And as unfortunate for me to say this as I will say it anyways. Toys R Us, as we reported on last week, is actually meeting its demise as an entity. But for consumers out there, that does mean clearance sales that are on the horizon. They haven't, as of this recording, released any plans definitive as of yet, but keep an eye on Toys R Us on social media. Keep an eye on, as far as Toys R Us conversations, on the hashtag, to keep in touch with exactly what Toys R Us is doing, as far as how it's going to be breaking down as far as clearances in all their stores. Because if you jump on it, you'll be able to get, not only board games, video games, but toys all around, collectibles, things of that nature. you'll be able to get some really good deals. And at least in a bad situation for Toys R Us, at least we can go ahead and make some people and some folks out there, a little bit happy in its stead. And hopefully the word of Toys R Us as memories come down the pike year after year will hopefully be spread for some time to come. And at least it's as a kind of consolation, at least as far as it's concerned. So Toys R Us will hopefully not be forgotten anytime soon. So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the pop culture cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great day.